Hello, hi, welcome to the pre-stream. We've just started, and we've got rain. Hello?
Oi!
Hi! What brings you to this lonely corner?
You know why.
Suffering. You're
Hello?
just here to enjoy some suffering. I don't blame you, it can be a rad economy in some places.
Okay, there we go.
Alright.
Hello! Hi, Bomber! I brought the ping.
Let's do it.
Of course you did.
What?
What do
are
you
talking
mean?
about?
You said you forgot to ping.
I didn't say I forgot the ping, I said I have the ping.
Oh,
There's no point in pinging before the pre-stream starts.
Alright, pre-stream messages.
It is pre-stream right now. Seekers,
Alright.
it's stream time. Let's go.
There we go.
Wonderful. God, things are so weird. Okay. So what now? Who do we think is going to be the... Hey, Kubon. Do you know about the game? You probably do, right? You have spoilers.
yeah.
So that's unfortunate. I
played
can't
this,
ask your opinion.
I played this the entire series.
Like, series?
Yep.
Is there more than one game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the only reason why we're playing this game.
Oh my god. This is so bizarre. You know, a lot of YouTubers, whenever I see them, I just think, how did he do this? How did he speak so clearly to a camera, and how did he sound entertaining? It's always like magic to me, and I don't understand. One of these days, I will get it, even though it's been 2 years and I didn't. You know, you'd imagine after 2 years I'd figure something out, but no, apparently not. Ninjabot, hi, welcome to the stream! Okay, Ninjabot, if you don't know, that's wonderful. Okay, who do you think is the bad guy? Because my current thoughts is the bad guy is June. That's my current thoughts. What do you think? Who do you think is the bad guy? Very.
Don't want anything in this conversation
What do you
because I
mean?
know who.
Obviously, you know who the bad guy is. Kubo knows who the bad guy is. Both of you have played this game before. I haven't played this
Yeah.
game before, and Ninjabot here hasn't played the game before. So this is not a no spoiler discussion. Just a general idea of who do you think the bad guy is. I think it's June. I think it's definitely June. I think it's 100% June. If it's not June, I'd be shocked. Like, who else could it possibly be?
Uh,
It has to be June. Oh, June? Or it's Junpei, but he has memory problems. Are you serious? Ninjabot. Junpei. Okay, I understand you also thinking it might be June. But Junpei? That's like a whole nother thing of I suddenly forgot. I remember everything except, everything involving the massive multi-month effort or multi-year effort it would have taken to refurbish this massive yacht and set everything else for the sake of these games.
Okay, I think it's about time.
It is about time.
If you cut to our feed,
I have cut to our feed. Huzzah! Oh. Alright, we should get moving too.
what?
Get moving. Oh, June, get moving?
Where are we going? Everyone except Lotus seem rather confused.
Well, it would be a waste to just sit around, wouldn't it? Let me explain. Oh, I get it. What did she explain? I get it. We're gonna see if there's any wait. We're gonna see if we can get anywhere interesting with the Jupiter key. Yes. Yes, if we're lucky, we might find Snake. So awkward just being both characters.
They were at the end of the hallway lined by individual hospital rooms. The juniper symbol was engraved on the keyhole.
Alright, Junpei. Open it if you will.
Yeah, I'm on it. Junpei pulled the Jupiter key out of his pocket and slid it into a keyhole.
Good,
He
good.
twisted. With a nice, sharp click, he felt the door unlock. Alright, ready, guys? Junpei's companions nodded. He nodded back, then slowly and quietly opened the door. Inside was exactly what he expected to see from the map of the ship's interior. They were in the tremendous hall, almost a ballroom, with a massive central staircase. Great! Back to the beginning. You sure this was a good idea? What do you mean? Well, we already searched every inch of this room, didn't we? I'm asking if there's any reason we'd come back here.
Of course there's a
Dude,
reason.
we have 3 keys. Of course there's a reason. Sometimes I can't tell if you're smart or lucky. The fuck you say? This. He pulled 2 things out of his pockets. The Saturn key card and the Earth key. Santa cocked his head to one side like an inquisitive bird and looked at him. After several long moments, during which it became apparent that Santa had no idea what the cards meant, June took pity on him.
Don't you remember, Santa? On C deck where we are now, there's a big elevator behind the stairs, right? And next to the elevator, there was a card reader with the Saturn symbol on it. And on A deck, the door to the left, it was a keyhole with the Earth symbol on it, I think. So the 2 keys Junpei has.
Should let us use the elevator and the door on A deck. Huh.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. That's 100% right. I'm surprised you came up with that on your own.
June smiled, pleased with herself. So did Santa. Alright, I got it. Let's get started then. What do you say we split up into 2 teams? Lotus and I will search the Earth one, so you two can search the Saturn, alright? Yeah, sounds good. Junpei handed the Earth key to Santa. They decided that their initial search should be a brief, only 10 minutes. They met back near the staircase once they were done. Junpei and June headed to the elevators. Sure enough, there was a card reader bolted to the wall next to the left elevator. He lined up the Saturn key card and swiped it through the reader. The light on the upper left corner blinked to life. Great. Looks like it's working now.
Alright, now to call the elevator.
There was a single button to the right of the elevator door. On the button was an upside-down triangle, the universal symbol for down. There didn't appear to be an up button. Junpei pushed it. He didn't have much choice.
Oh, fancy elevator. It opened! It opened! Look! Look, Jumpy!
June's voice was excited, but Junpei could hear a tinge of anxiety. Sweet, it opened. Let's get going. He grinned at June and stepped towards the open door. As he was about to set foot in it, he felt her hand hold onto his arm.
Wait.
What?
I'm not ready. I just, oh gosh.
Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? June was probably afraid of...
Dead? Being alone with a boy. No, the fact that, they could only go down.
She was afraid because the only elevator button pointed down. That meant, of course, that the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on. As he thought about it, Junpei realized he hadn't seen elevators on A or B decks near the central staircase, all of which meant that the elevator could only convey them to the lower decks. And the floor below the one they were on, D deck, was completely submerged.
That's
That
pretty
meant...
smart.
Hey, wait a minute. This elevator came up from somewhere under us, right?
Oh, well, yeah, I guess it did. It didn't open right away after he pushed the button. There was a motor noise, like it was moving, and then it opened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yes.
So look inside. Junpei jerked his head toward the interior of the elevator. It's not wet at all, is it? The walls are and the floor are totally dry.
You're right. They are.
She looked around the elevator, slightly embarrassed. Well, let's just test it.
Test it?
Yeah, watch this. Junpei put one foot in the elevator and bent around the corner of the door until he could see the floor buttons. There was only 2. E and C. He pushed the E button and jumped out of the elevator. The door slid shut and they heard the grinding of a motor as the elevator car moved down.
They're smart.
A few moments later, they heard the sound of the elevator door grinding open several floors below. Junpei nodded to June and then pressed the elevator button up again. A few minutes later, the elevator returned. They gotta play the animation every time. We spent money on the budget.
Yeah.
We're gonna play this as many times as needed.
Hold up. Wait a second. What do you mean? Ninja bot? Santa in his head. Oh no! Why would you say that? That's Santa, by the way.
What did they say?
It's not accurate this time, by the way, because Santa's the twink.
There's no way this twink lumberjack cosplayer, simp adjacent, weak-willed, maidenless-looking motherfucker just called me stupid, right?
Oh my god.
Anyway, the door slid open just as Junpei had expected, and there was no water. See? Junpei couldn't resist puffing out his chest, just a little bit. June, however, still looked confused.
What does this mean? How can Edek be safe if the Edek is full of water?
Well, here's what I think. The elevator shaft and E-deck must be watertight, separated from wherever the ship's been punctured. Here, let me show you. He pulled out a notebook and pen and stretched out a rough illustration.
They're wasting a lot of time
Yeah,
here.
Junpei is not an artist.
He's wasting a lot of time here.
June.
Oh, I see. So that's why the ship hasn't sunk. The shape to the inside keeps it from all filling up with water?
I think that's what's going on. Junpei continued talking as he closed the notebook and slipped it back in his pocket. So I'm gonna go down and check it out. You can stay here, alright?
But
Come on, just do it, alright? He gave June's shoulder a reassuring squeeze and hopped onto the elevator. He pushed the E button and the door began to close. June looked worried, her eyes darting back and forth as she was trying to make a decision, then suddenly...
I'm coming with you.
What? At the last possible moment, June dashed forward, turning sideways just in time to slip through the gap between the closing doors.
Just she wanted adrenaline.
Junpei jammed his finger against the open button, but it was too late. The door had shut, and he and June were in the elevator, and it headed down the E deck. He was so surprised that he didn't even have time to think about what awaited him on E deck. The elevator stopped, and the door slid open. Welcome to E deck. They stepped off onto the floor outside the elevator. Nothing seemed especially unusual. No fish going about their fishy business, or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. There was, however, a blowfish. Or something that looked like one. June's cheeks were puffed out, and her mouth was a tiny, intense frown. Yeah, pufferfish. Knock it off. Just what I thought. This part isn't flooded. Come on, let's look around. No water here. June looked around nervously, then...
Huh.
exhaled.
But you're right. It's not flooded at all.
See?
But there's a whole lot of water.
Yeah, right on top of us.
What's gonna happen if the ceiling breaks?
Junpei thought about that for a moment. We probably die.
Oh no, don't be so casual about something like that. Well, you asked.
At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can once we're done looking around here. Lotus and Santa might already be back. Star.
Okay, good idea.
Junpei glanced around the room they found themselves in.
Yeah, Ninja Bot.
First thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room, separating the left elevator from the right one. So we can't go over there.
You're right.
Then perhaps in the corner of the room that housed the elevators, Junpei found an opening. He walked up it, stuck his head around the corner. A long, straight hallway stretched out in front of him.
The door at the end of the hallway, there's something written on it.
Yeah, let's have a look. Junpei and June set down the hallway at a brisk clip, somewhere between a run and a jog. Before long, they found themselves in front of a door. On it was the number written in bright paint. 6.
Oh no.
I knew it.
It's a numbered door.
And indeed, there was a red bolted to the wall right next to the door. Of course, with only 2 people, there wasn't much they could do. Okay, let's just head back.
Yeah.
Junpei and June turned and headed back to C-Deck. On their way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall. As he turned out, it was burnt. Map of the ship interior for E-Deck. Huh. So you guys found door 1. They met up with Santa and Lotus, who explained what they found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A-Deck, just like the one he found on E-Deck, beyond the door that the Earth key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door. All told, they had discovered 2 doors, 1 and 6.
It's interesting that E-Tech wasn't flooded.
This was quiet for a moment, lost in thought. Well, we
Oh.
didn't know if all of E-Deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator.
Even so, it's still very interesting.
You said the 6th door was down there, right? Yeah. Oh, no, that's true.
Yes.
Then that means Zero planned all this out. Even the sinking. That would mean that some serious remodeling of the ship's interior.
But that's pretty mind-blowing. It's pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. Yeah. I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine what it must have cost.
It would have been a ton. That's for sure. Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation would be that this is done by some sort of organization with access to a whole lot of cash.
Yes, it does make sense.
The thought made him go quiet for a moment. June bit her lip, while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off in the distance at nothing.
I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here.
June looked up at Junpei with large, pleading eyes. Yeah, you're right. Ace and his team might already be back.
Well, Junpei and I should be able to open door 1.
Huh? You guys are leaving me behind?
Just kidding.
Right. Okay, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Notice's words were all the impetus they needed. Back to the large hospital room they went. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room. Kobold?
Hey! Hey, where the hell did you guys go?
It was 7. Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back. It looked as though they were something strange about them. 7 had the look of a man who's seen a ghost, Ace was as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only a few moments from passing out entirely. For a long moment, they simply stood there, looking at one another. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone to speak. No one did. He looked at 7. What happened?
What the hell kind of question is that?
7 was trying really hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling and his voice was strained.
Snake was... snakiest.
7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by... Junpei wasn't sure what. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke. Snake is dead.
Excuse me, what?
He died, just as the 9th man did. It was as if all the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Junpei felt his heart quicken, and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He could feel cold sweat beating on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All 3 were frozen in place, and their faces were white.
Oh my god, that's not true, is it? We should make sure.
Yeah, right, we should. They nodded to one another and headed to the number 3 door.
Come on.
Wait. Not that way.
They stopped short and looked back at 7. He was pointing at the door with no number.
I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way. It's not locked, so you can go in that way.
Where is he?
The shower room on the left side of the hallway. I put a broom in there too to keep the door open.
Can I just point out how resourceful 7 is for just sticking things in doors?
Listen,
This is
Yeah.
like the 3rd time he's done this.
listen. This man has one character trait. Doors. When a door closes, he's like the lizard man in Goblin Slayer Bridge. There is no escape. We are trapped here. This place will be our doom.
Okay, either way. We can get through without having to go through a numbered door, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Their new destination clear, Junpei and his companions headed to the door with no number. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left wall. It hadn't been opened when they had been through before, but now, just as 7 said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame, keeping it open.
Okay.
They
so,
looked
hold up.
at it for a moment, then stepped inside.
I've
Yeah?
drawn 4 of the men and then June. You know what? Let's continue with tradition. Let's draw another man. Who's left? I'm not counting the dead guy,
Ace?
the first dead guy. 9.
No, I'm not counting him.
Yeah, but who's left? Otherwise, just Ace?
Ace.
Is Ace the only one left?
Yes.
Oh, so there are 5 men, 4 women.
No, 3 women. Look, counting up by number: Ace, man, Snake,
Oh, right.
man,
No, wait. No.
Santa.
No, I was counting up to 9. You're right. There are only 8
The ninth
characters.
man was a man, but
Nightman
also
is
we're not counting the ninth
Nightman is a
man.
Nightman's a corpse.
Anyway, they look inside.
Ugh, it smells horrible.
Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Even Santa pinched his nose shut. Yeah, this is pretty awful. Feel like I'm gonna puke. It was just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air, so thick that they could almost taste it. It was sour and smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat, the pound against the entrance to his stomach. He felt his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged. They didn't have to wonder where the body was. It was here and there and there. There was blood everywhere, a few arms of the splatter reaching towards them as they looked in through the door. All they had to do was follow the radical arms to the source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider. June, you should stay here.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking for a reference for Ace.
For who?
Ace. But
Coolbon, can you find a reference for Ace?
I found it.
Okay. Please, just do me a favor, okay? Alright? He didn't give her a chance to say no. He put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tent pole, turned and walked toward the ends of the divider. He felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Santa and Lotus followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually, they reached the divider. They looked at one another and nodded slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. He knew that instance that he would take the image before him to the grave. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great red sea. Vast, ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat were splattered against the wall and became stuck there as they dried. Globules of yellowish fat had left trails like little slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried it to it. Ah, God, it's just like Ace said. Santa's voice was strained. Junpei suspected he was holding down some vomit of his own. Ugh, just like the ninth man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut. It looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. His legs were both bent in odd, unnatural ways, and his left arm had split open, exposing the painfully white bone of his ulna. His bracelet lay next to him.
Wait,
It seemed they hit a wall hard enough to have shattered the display,
wait,
which lay on the ground in pieces.
wait. But
What?
Snake. One of his arms is fake.
Half of his head was simply collapsed. The blood coating almost made it look like raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. Why do I keep describing this as Italian cooking?
To inflict pain upon Ninja Bot.
Someone is hungry.
Junpei is secretly hungry.
Junpei is secretly hungry and the
That's why he's
feet.
describing
and-
visceral gore like spaghetti and
Either
pizza.
that or he's extremely anti-Italian.
His clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks. They were all familiar to Junpei.
There's no mistake about it. It's Snake. It's not, right?
His voice was unnaturally deep and strained, and Junpei heard it catch in her throat. Back in the hospital. Squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like a noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Each time it put him on edge. Didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should.
But wait,
It was
why didn't they
Clover.
describe the prosthetic arm?
She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly onto her chest. Her eyes were blank. She stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as if a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Ninja Bot, am I being gaslit?
Look, let's focus on
I think
getting
that's-
through the novel section first.
Yeah, you're making a very good observation. I give Star 50 points.
Just like, because there's no way Clover would know it.
Well, Clover didn't.
Yeah, if Clover saw it, there's no way she wouldn't know it. Because I'm also just like,
Yeah, but she wouldn't, because, well, it's her goddamn brother.
yeah, but,
Anyway,
yeah, but no,
seven
no, no,
line.
no, no. There's no way she wouldn't know about, the body not being snake, not being like Snake, or at least because she's the one who told us about
No.
the arm.
Yeah, but do remember that this is her brother, and if there's a blood stain, you don't want to see your own brother being blasted to smithereens.
Okay, because I'm just like looking at this and thinking, holy shit.
7 line. Go on.
But, oh, that's 7.
Yes.
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the 9th man was.
7 lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room with Junpei and 7. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. 7 looked at each one of them in turn and continued.
It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First, the killer got Snake to authenticate on the red to open door 3. Then they shut him in alone and waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was over for Snake, but he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower. Looking for a room, looking for the dead. It was a small chance, but things wasn't like he had anything to lose. But unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonators only deactivated if everybody who authenticated when they went in uses the dead. And then 81 seconds after you were shoved in, pop like a grape.
I see. So, that's what you meant by killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake. It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
Exactly. That means we're looking at multiple perps here.
Junpei crossed his arms and grunted. Well, just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we all split up to look for the parts for the red, I think. Right after that was when we noticed he was gone.
And that means none of us have alibis. We were all off searching the rooms we had been aside, looking for those parts.
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Seems shocked.
How could you casually say one of us is a killer so casually? Oh, I read that wrong.
Well, not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least. Oh, wait, that's 7.
Move on.
Well, not just one of us, if I'm right. There are at least 2 of us are murderers.
Why don't we calm down a bit, 7? What are you going to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants, you know.
What Zero wants.
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it? Any game has a winner and a loser. Whoever makes it through door number 9 is the winner, and those who don't are the losers. Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
Then you're saying the Zero's trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
Yes. That's why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion. We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship. Otherwise, we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
And does that mean that person who killed Snake?
Yes, almost certainly Zero himself. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't it seem reasonable that he would have Snake killed as well?
Wait, hold up a second, NinjaBot. NinjaBot makes sense. NinjaBot's like, am I missing something? The door they went through was not a numbered door.
Yeah, because
Wait.
all the doors in this area go back to that unnumbered door. So why reactivate the dead and have the bombs possibly go off for the 3 that entered to go investigate the body? That's why Snake rigged the door open, so you don't have to go through the whole bomb situation
You
again.
mean 7?
Oh.
7.
Wait. They went through the unnumbered door, right?
No, they went through the they went through the unnumbered door to go check out what was behind the numbered door.
Okay. Where is Snake's body? In the back.
Shower room, and I want to say door number 3.
Okay.
Was it 3?
Okay, so NinjaBot, so basically, Snake and someone else went through door number 3, allegedly. And that's how that happened. How did they open
Well,
the door?
no. No, only Snake went through the door.
No, but
Whoever-
no, they attempted to go, they started going through it, then they locked Snake on the other side.
Yeah.
So how did, so these people found out, okay. So Snake's number 1.
Snake is bracelet number 2.
Okay, Snake's number 2. Who would Snake have to go with to get 3 as their special number, which is the last number, right?
Wait, stop. I'm thinking. Was it?
It would have to be
What?
8 and 3. Who's 8?
Wait. I'm trying to think. What door is the shower room behind?
Could we look at the logs? Just really quickly?
Give me a
Wait.
second.
Okay, quick. What was Clover's number?
4.
Clover is 4.
Because Clover. It could be also a 4 and a 7, but I don't. 7 is literally right here. I think
Okay, the shower room is door
Santa,
number 3.
7
In
is
order to
Santa-
move to door number 3, they need a notary root of 3, which can
Oh
be
right, Santa wasn't with us, so that should. I mean, Ace wasn't with them, so that was 7, Clover, and 3, right?
7, Clover, 3.
I mean-
That would be basically if 7 if
that
7
would be 5.
So no, ignore for right now. Ignore Ace. But if
Yeah.
7, Clover, and Snake went through a door,
Not
that
Snake, Santa.
7, Clover,
Itchy.
and Santa. That I think that would be proper because that would be. Would that be proper?
5.
No.
Because
I
Itchy
hate this. This is so
Sun.
complicated.
Yeah, that would be number 5. But
If you
that is
wanted-
impossible.
Look, if you want the notary root of 3, you need you need 12. You need numbers that add up to 12.
Oh yeah, you need 12. That makes more sense. So 7 and 3. 7, 3, and 2. So you get 12. Okay?
Okay, who
You
went
know what?
through the door with Clover?
I wish I had the power to just write
ones
down
that went
all the
through the door
characters'
with
names
Clover
and write down their
were
numbers.
Ace, Clover, and 7.
Actually, you know what? I have that number. I have that power with me right now.
Ace, Clover, and 7.
No, Ace wasn't. They didn't enter
Okay, wait, let
together
me-
with Clover and
No,
discover the body.
I meant when they were looking for the body.
Wait, let
Ah.
me just do this.
They just went through the door.
Ace is 1. Snake is 2. I don't know who's 3. Lotus is not.
Snake.
three? Who's 3?
Yeah, Snake is
There's
2.
3.
3 is San, so that's Santa.
Santa's 3. 4 is
Clover,
Clover.
4.
5 is Junpei.
Yeah. 6 must be.
June, because 6 month.
Yeah.
It's June.
7 is 7. 8 was
It's Lotus.
Lotus.
And that
Okay.
was the
And
ninth.
And
and
9
9
is
was-
dead, doesn't even matter. So now we have the question. Who was with us right now? We were with June.
Yeah.
They pointed out that this was back before we even went through these doors in the first place.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
know we know it's not us.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out which door it is.
3.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. I just looked at the map of the
Okay.
game.
So
The third
fair
door
enough.
leads to the shower room.
to get to 3,
Okay.
the combinations are 3
Anyway,
plus 7 plus 2. That's
say
12.
you keep thinking on that. Let's
3.
progress a little.
You go
Yeah.
ahead.
Junpei hadn't really considered that. If Zero had killed Snake, then Zero was on the ship with them. Was Zero on the ship with them? Well, is Zero on the ship with us?
Of course.
Of course he was. That was obvious. Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. Junpei mumbled to himself, lost in thought. Where would Zero be hiding? Suddenly, everyone went quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghost moaning noise. And moments later, a person had looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was cold and monotone.
I think Zero is one of us.
Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of these faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Junpei said,
Well, that's possible, I guess.
"Oh, that's possible."
I mean, I might be stupid, but I come up with actually 3 possibilities.
Oh, and those are?
It's 3 plus 7 plus 2, which is Snake and 7 and Snake, or 4 plus 6 plus 2, which is Clover and June and Snake, or 1 plus 3 plus 6 plus 2, which is Ace, Santa, June, and Snake. Because no matter what, Snake's consistent. We can't get rid of Snake.
But I would also say exclude anything that includes Clover and exclude anything that has more than 4 people.
Okay, well, to exclude Clover, if we exclude Clover, and it has only, I have only one prepared with 4 people exactly.
No, no 4s, only 3s. The more people, the more unlikely.
Then literally the only possibility I can think of is Santa, 7, and Snake.
Okay.
My
And
question,
did you include the 9th man in all of this calculations?
no, because he's dead.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
his bracelet still exists.
But the bracelet's still there.
In that case, only one person's needed. If 9 exists, 9 plus 2 is 11. So the only option is 1.
Anyway,
Yeah, literally, if the Night Man is there, literally the only possibility is 1.
Clover said Zero might be
Because
one of us.
nothing else would work.
Line.
What are you saying, Shunpei?
Didn't you hear what? Oh wait, that's June.
Bro, wait a second. The bracelet stops working if the heartbeat isn't there.
Oh, the
This-
bracelet
it-
come
it
off
doesn't
if
blow
the
up.
heartbeat is there.
Oh my god. But yeah,
They
if
never
the,
said it didn't
if the
off.
bracelet still works, the only possibility is Ace. He's literally the only one. Because anything more, if it's more than Ace, you need like 2 other people. Oh my
That June
god.
line.
Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect each other for no reason. No reason. I've got a great reason. And what's that? The bracelets. He held out his left arm. Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to do. It would make a lot more it would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by a detonator in the bracelet? Huh. You got a point. I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the nonary game. All of the puzzles here are run by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why is that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that? Junpei let the question hang on the air, and everyone looked at each other. It was Santa who answered. So, let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us, or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles are run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right? Yeah. Junpei nodded. 7, what we were talking about earlier. You said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Well, 2.
Goban.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right? Yes, something like that. Can't think of any other explanation. So, what do we do if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is equal to Zero, is equal to one of us. Seven and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well. At least they do if Zero is one of us. No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes. Isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero hide as one of us?
That's because, Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that. And he hadn't, to be honest with himself, he had no idea. I don't know. Lotus sighed.
Well, so much to make a persuasive argument, Junpei. Junpei.
In other words, you only have circumstantial evidence. Goban.
I don't really think that's enough to go on. Yeah, no.
Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else to look at. Just when he felt he couldn't bear it no longer,
Look,
that's the clock.
I can't
The bell
believe
began
I
to
can't
ring.
believe Snake's the bad guy.
The
Snake.
clock at the
Not
staircase.
Snake. Sorry. First off, I don't know if Snake's dead, but if Snake's dead, it has to be Ace. And if it's Ace, I can't believe you did this, Ace. What about June? My June conspiracy theory, you bitch!
3 a.m.
That means we have 3 hours left. Oh.
Then we need to move now. 7, Clover, Junpei. I know how you feel, but do understand that right now it's important we trust one another. Don't you? Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say inside. 7 and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away. We must go. We have little time left. Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going. Their next destination was Mercury.
This is like a D&D campaign, isn't it? Our D&D campaign.
Fat, bolted to the wall near the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen between 2 elevators. The Mercury card reader. Junpei stood in front of it with the Mercury key card. 7 had given him the card.
I found it when we were checking out the shower room.
At least that's what he said. Junpei slid the card through the reader. The light on the reader turned green and made a tiny electronic noise. Now they were ready. Junpei and June had been chosen as the investigators. The reasoning being that they had been on E-Deck before and no one else had. As before, Junpei sent the elevator ahead to make sure the floor they were heading to wasn't flooded. As before, the elevator returned as dry as they had left. Once it had been checked for water, Junpei and June stepped into the elevator.
I would just like to point out.
Yeah?
Actually, no, never mind.
There was only 2 floor buttons that they could push, the C and the bottom buttons. The rest were destroyed or did nothing when they pushed. Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. Slowly they began to move downward. Sometime later, Junpei and June stepped off the elevator and onto the bottom deck. They stepped off and saw that the hallway on their right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, and not a regular dead end.
This is the numbered door.
This is the 8th one we found. There's only one left. There are 2 on B deck in the central staircase. Those are 4 and 5. In the hospital room, there were 3 more doors. 3, 7, and 8. Now, we just found 6, 1, and 2. 2 on E deck, 1 on E deck, 1 on A deck, and 1 here on the bottom deck. There's only one thing in mint.
Do you think the next door we find?
Yeah, I think so. The next one's going to be 9. Despite himself, Junpei felt excited. There was something about the excitement that frightened him as well. He did his best to put in his mind and headed back to C deck with June.
So we've been playing this game for like, God, how long has it been? 3 sessions every other week? 6 weeks maybe?
We've only played this like 3 times.
Yeah. But it's 6 weeks. And we're 3 hours, we're like 6 hours into it. This
Okay,
is just the
we can
D&D
keep going.
session.
Let's just go. All right, let's open these up. The pieces of paper they folded up lie on the ground next to Junpei's legs. There were 7 of them, all told. They were written on paper pulled from Junpei's notebook, and each one of them bore a code name and a door. Why had they decided to vote this way? They decided it wasn't fair to simply ask everyone at once. That would allow people to force others to go through certain doors. Well, that wasn't the only reason. Junpei had proposed the voting system, and he had a plan. It wasn't a plan he wanted anyone catching wind of, however, so he did his best to act calm and began to open and read pieces of paper. The first one read, Ace requests door 1. Yes, I do. Would you like me to explain why? I think you'll find the answer very funny.
Because he's number 1?
Exactly. It's a good joke. Yeah, we don't have time for that. Sorry. Keep going. I thought it was funny. So he opened the second one. Next is Santa. He wants to go through door 6. Yeah, that's what I wrote. June continued with the 3rd, 4th, 5th pieces of paper. Clover wants door 1. Lotus wants door 2. 7 wants 2.
Eh? Oh, wait a minute. There's no way I'm going anywhere with that elephant, man.
No, there'd be no point in voting if we let people change their choices because of stuff like that.
But...
Give me a second. There. Just give it up, Lotus. It's not like I want to hang out with some exhibitionist grandma.
Excuse me? I am not an exhibitionist. I'm wearing clothes.
Barely.
So? Last I checked, that's not a crime.
Maybe, but what about common decency? Nobody wants to have to look at a chick who looks like a half-naked raisin.
Oh my god, this man's brutal.
Huh.
I'm going to kill you! Oh my
Going at
god!
it.
You're going at it!
Lotus's hair flared out like a mane of an angry lion. She roared with a voice that shook the walls. With some difficulty, Ace managed to restrain her. Junpei! Read the rest! Right. Junpei tore his eyes away and looked down at the 6th piece of paper. He opened it. June wants door 6.
She hasn't said no to the grammar comment. What? She hasn't said no to the grammar comment.
Now, how old Lotus is?
Old enough to have retired from IT.
Hold on, let me check something.
Probably,
You read the
probably,
line, Will.
probably 30. Yes. I don't really have a reason. I just felt like it.
Yeah, it says the 31.
Oh my god. 31. She's practically dead.
Fuck you.
I'm joking. I'm 29.
Goddamn kid.
All the papers save Junpei's have been read. He did a quick calculations in his head. People who requested 1, Ace and Clover. There was the door A deck near the central staircase. People who requested 2 are 7 and Lotus. Bottom deck. And then there's the ones who did floor 6, Santa and June.
There are only 2 each.
Those are
None of
four.
these are viable.
And could be reached by taking the elevator near the central staircase down. It took him less than a second to run the numbers. He opened the 7th piece of paper and spoke. Okay, the last one is mine. I want to go through. This is his
Oh,
plan.
his
He
line.
didn't write anything. And I say we go through door 6.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't have the guide up, so I can't. I don't have the board up, so I can't tell you which one I want.
I want to go through door 6. Junpei flipped open the piece of paper. He read Junpei, door 6. Of
We're
course
not,
it did. He
we're-
written it after all.
We're not going for the best ending, are we?
No.
Well, we can't get the best
Okay,
ending.
good. I'd be so sad if we got the best ending and had to play through the rest to get all the bad endings.
We can't get the best ending.
Yeah, that's what
We
I'm,
have to do some bad endings.
that's what I'm glad about.
No, I mean, it's literally impossible to do
Yeah,
the good ending first
I
time.
know. That's why I said.
Anyway, June line.
Yeah, that's a problem. Oh my.
Junpei spoke barely above a whisper. June spoke barely above a whisper, but she all knew what she said.
None of these teams will be able to go through the doors they want.
Chloe and I chose door 1.
Move on.
And I chose door 2.
It's not enough people to open a numbered door. However,
The digital route don't match up either.
we got similar problems. June, Junpei, and I want to go through door 6, but our digital route is 5. If we're gonna get through that door, we need a 1.
Damn. What are we gonna do now? This voting system is bullshit.
What are we going to do? Junpei crossed his arms and did his best to put his thoughts in order. The others followed suit, but with little result. Eventually, Clover broke the silence.
Why don't Seven and Lotus go through door 1? With me?
Her face was cold and flat, as was her voice, but her logic was sound. Seven and Lotus looked at each other. 7 plus 8 plus 4 is 19. That equals 1 once you do the notary route. The first problem solved, Ace spoke up. What about me?
Isn't that obvious? Wasn't one of the teams just complained they didn't have one?
You mean I should join Santa's team? Clover nodded. Her face was cold and emotionless. Her attitude and posture could not have been more different than the energetic girl we had only seen moments before. No one seemed ready to contradict her. Her response was understandable, given the horrible situation that she had found herself. But even so, I understand. I will go through door 6, then. If we do as Clover had suggested, we can all pass through a numbered door. No one will be left behind. This seems to be the most reasonable solution. 7, Lotus, what do you guys think?
I don't have a problem with that.
Me neither, no.
All right, then. We're good to go. At last, Junpei and the other 6 have managed to separate themselves into 2 teams. Those 3 headed to door 1 on the main staircase. Junpei, June, Ace, and Santa, however, went to the elevator to E-Deck. The ride to E-Deck was a silent one. All right, let's go. Santa's words jolted them to action, and they stopped out of the elevator into a long, straight hallway. Before long, they arrived in front of a door 6. One by one, they put their palms over the red.
I gotta say, this game, I do love the designs of this game. Hello? Have I lost internet connection? Okay, thank God.
No!
Oh, you're still here.
With a small electronic voice, it authenticated each of them. The door opened, and all at once the 4 of them leapt through it. Fortunately, the dead was located easily enough. The one had been placed quite close to the door they entered through. They gathered around it quickly and hurried, placed their palms on it for authentication one by one. Okay. Stopped.
Yes. It stopped. Oof.
Countdown had ceased, but Junpei's heart was still pounding in his chest like a frantic thunder's drum. It felt as though it might shake itself up and out of his throat. He had been through doors 3 times before, and the repetition had not dulled the experience. He was not anxious to find it dulled, however. He hoped to be free of this ridiculous game long before that happened. Okay, let's go. With that attempt on good humor, Junpei took a deep breath and began to walk. He jogged down the stairs at the end of the hallway and found himself staring at a large door. It was a heavy thing, made of iron, more than a little threatening. He took a hold of the bar that served as the doorknob and shoved it down. The room beyond stopped him in his tracks. It was gargantuan, made entirely of metal. None of the essence of wood or tile like the rest of the ship. This room was functional and utterly tremendous. What the hell is this? Santa got a few words before awe stole the rest of them. The rest were stunned to offer anything more than gasps. It was easily the largest room they'd seen, and yet it was somehow closed and impressive. The ceiling was at least 2 stories high, if not significantly more.
What are we looking?
It was easily several hundred feet across and appeared to stretch the entire width of the ship.
What's this
It is the
MC
center of the
looking
gargantuan
shit I'm looking at?
Stood a mass round a building. Even from a distance, the sheer bulk of it seemed oppressive. Junpei couldn't feel the room, the building, even the air pressing down at him. Junpei and the others were standing on the scaffolding that crisscrossed the whole area. The proper term was catwalk, Junpei thought, although it didn't seem particularly important. Alright, let's head down the stairs. Nearby was a long, thin iron staircase that made its way eventually to the floor beneath them.
Man, clothes in the 90s were just different, weren't they?
They moved around towards opposite sides of the massive building following the catwalk. They hadn't said much as they walked, but as they approached the building, Ace suddenly spoke up. This looks to be the steam engine room. The steam engine room? Yes. The thing that looks like a cross-section of a mushroom is the boiler. Do you see the 3 round doors near the bottom? Coal is put into those and burned, which heats the water, producing steam. The same thing that drives a steam engine. This one is just somewhat larger. I see. Even if Ace was right, the boiler was boiling nothing as they approached it. The entire room was silent as the grave. Suddenly, Junpei heard a noise behind him. He turned just to see June collapse to her knees. Hey, what's wrong? Are you alright? He dashed towards her and wrapped his arm around her shoulders to steady her. It was then that he noticed. You're really warm. Is your fever coming back?
Yeah. It probably is. But I'm fine. Please don't worry about me. I just need to rest and I will be fine.
This was weak and forced. It said a great deal more than her words did. Junpei carried her to the nearest wall and propped her up against it. She let her head fall back against the wall, as if she no longer had the strength to support it, and drew a ragged breath. Her eyes were empty, as if she was having trouble focusing them, and even speaking seemed difficult for her. Junpei felt his hand ball itself into a fist, and clenched tight, his knuckles widening. He had to find a way out, quickly. He turned, looked at Ace and Santa, and turned. They might not have shared in the depth of his emotion, but they certainly shared his concern. He didn't need words to express the urgency of the situation. Alright, let's get started. Hang in there, June. I'm gonna get you out of here real soon.
Okay, Ninjabot, did I fix it?
She managed a small nod before leaning back to rest her head on the wall. Okay, so this is the steam engine room. There's a number on these little windows on the inside of this thing. You think you're supposed to put coal in these, though, but the wheel did shut. I don't think we can get these open. Okay, staircase. Go upstairs. There's a catwalk up there. Keep going upstairs. Door A. We aren't going anywhere with this pile of boxes here. What the hell's in these things anyway? They're way too heavy to move.
Interesting.
Okay, door A. One of the doors of the furnace. There's an A on it. There's a circular wheel in the center of the door. Let's give that sucker a twist. Well, it's noisy, but it opens. It's totally pitch black in there. We should, go in there. Alright. Let's go. This looks like the door we went into. So where are we? We must be on the other side, yes? Which would put us directly above the conveyor belts. At any rate, we should keep moving. There's a great deal we've yet to investigate. Okay, so there's boxes there. But no boxes here. but there were boxes between us and the other one. So we needed to go into the B door, putting us on this side, and now we're here by this winch. Supports the braces that side of the ship. It's not a ladder. Alright, let's give this wheel a spin. What? That's weird. I don't feel any resistance. Yeah. Oh, shit. That's a broken wheel.
We didn't do it.
Spin
Good
me
job,
round.
genius!
We
You
didn't do-
broke
We
it!
didn't do it.
I didn't break it! It broke all by itself.
We didn't do it.
Yeah, sure. Good going, Junpei. You've doomed us all.
Why don't you believe me?
Let's go through this door. Hey, there's another winch. And operated winch. There's no wheel to turn. Oh yeah, I got the wheel. I pulled it off the other winch, didn't I? Let's see if it fits. Wait, perfect fit. Like they were made for each other. Not shaky at all. I might actually be able to turn this now. Good work, Junpei. You were able to haul up the wooden box now.
We totally
See?
did. We meant to do
box.
it. We're a genius.
Under the catwalk. You see it? If you look down there, there's a wooden box attached to this rope. We can lift it now. It's hanging from the rope on the winch that you just fixed. Right?
Really? There's a winch we just fixed? When did this happen?
It looks like there's some sort of device in the box. You know, the box attached to the rope, attached to the winch, attached to the wheel that you just put on the winch.
So wait, if I move the wheel which I took from the other winch, it'll just work? Really?
I'm not sure what this is. At any rate, you might as well turn that wheel now. You know, the wheel to the winch, attached to the rope, attached to the box that
The
we
one I
want to
stole
move.
from the other winch that hopefully we'll never need again.
I'm counting on you. Mainly because your scrawny arms should surely be stronger than my big man arms.
Yeah.
What is this? What happened? The wheel only turns to the left. It only turns to the left. That means we can't reel up the rope. Yeah.
Oh
You can
no.
only let the rope down.
Guys,
Interesting.
we're fucked. This wheel's a Democrat. We need to find a
I don't think
Republican wheel.
We will simply need to go downstairs after letting the wooden box down. I'll be counting on you, Junpei. Yeah, what you said. I believe the box has reached the floor. Yeah. He stuck his head over the side of the catwalk and looked down. The box had just recently hung and now sat on the floor. Came to a rest near the end of the tunnel and covered the conveyor belt, near where June had collapsed. Junpei could see her, still leaning against the wall, as if she barely had any strength to sit up. Even from far away, it was not difficult to see that she had not improved. He almost thought he could see heat rising from her body. She doesn't seem to be improving. His expression was inscrutable, but he said exactly what they had all been thinking. Well, of course not. She's not just going to get better right away, you know. It'll take time. He tried desperately to convince himself that what he had said was true. What could be causing this, I wonder? Illness, perhaps? Nah, it's got to be exhaustion. Santa's response was confident and certain. She gets dropped in some weird-ass ship, forced to play some messed-up game. If you think about it, it's a lot weirder that we aren't freaking out just like her. You know? We should all be exhausted. So you're saying we're abnormal? Yeah. We're just running around this room solving all these puzzles like it's business as usual. What the hell do you call that normal?
She
We're
is
just
right.
guinea pigs. Santa snorted in disgust. A guinea pig. You mean like a lab rat? Like we're being in some sort of experiment? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. But it does seem like a possibility, you know? With that, he turned and walked from the winch. Junpei and Ace followed him. You know, speaking of experiments, Santa suddenly stopped. There was this experiment some scientists did with some rats. First, they took a squarish C-shaped tank and filled it with enough water so the rats would drown. Tank had 2 exits, A and B. Exit A is pitch black, so dark even a rat can't see anything. Exit B, however, is electrified, which means that the rat can't leave through it. So what does a rat to do if it was put in this situation? Which exit would the rat choose?
B. It would choose B.
There's a moment of silence after Santa posed the question, then Ace responded. B, of course. The rat has no way of knowing that exit B is electrified. Exactly. The rat goes to exit B. Of course, like I said, it's electrified, which means the rat can't get through that way. So after a lot of trial and error, the rat finally exits through exit A. I can't say it's very interesting or relevant. Simply a story of a laboratory experiment. You're right, it isn't very interesting. Yet. These scientists repeated the experiment over and over, using hundreds of different rats of several generations. This produced some surprising results. With each generation of rats, they took less time to find the correct exit. Eventually, a rat that was put in the tank who instantly chose exit A without even attempting to go to exit B. But that wasn't even the most impressive thing. The same experiment was conducted in another lab, far from the original one, with the same results. No, on second thought, the result wasn't really the same. The rats in the second experiment began trials with significantly faster times than the first rats in the initial experiment. These rats were not related to the rats used in the first experiment, and had never even come in contact with them, but they all found their way to exit A, as if they already knew. What did it mean? Are you suggesting something like telepathy? They're passing information to one another through some undetectable medium. Ace looked skeptical. Santa snorted at him. How the hell should I know? I'm not some kind of scientist. I know what made him do it. I don't know what made him do it, though. But I do know the story's true. And if you've got another explanation, I'm sure love to hear it. Come on, let's get going. There's still a lot we haven't checked out. We gotta get the hell out of here before June passes out. As if waiting for a response, he turned back and started walking. Junpei, however, wasn't quite ready to leave that topic alone. Wait, what? Wait, there's something I'd want to ask you. Santa stopped, turned around. Why did they use that tank for the experiment? Huh? I mean, it just seems like you conduct the same experiment without the water. They could have just had a dried box, you know? If they wanted to motivate the rats to escape, they could have, I don't know, put bait near exit B or something. Do they really have to make it so the rats could drown? Santa gave a grim bark of a laugh. You know the word emergency comes from the same root as the word emerge? You ever think about that? Well, an emergency is something urgent, often something dangerous. And to emerge means to come out, or appear, or rise out of something. So, what's gonna emerge in an emergency? Inspiration. Inspiration? Yeah. Think about it. When the chips are down, either you crack or your mind focuses and pulls up whatever you need. So in an emergency, your real potential emerges? Is that what you're saying? Yeah. That's why the rats had to drown. They had to be in danger. There had to be an emergency for inspiration to emerge. Junpei suddenly felt cold. The back of his head was aching and his stomach felt strange. Get back through here. This door. Is that yet? Where's the box? Where's the box? There's the box. Control panel for something. Okay. Okay. This hole is shaped like the thing that we got from the winch. Put in here. Dude, you did it. Everything looks all right. Okay, but what did we do? Why don't you press the button next to it? The orange one? Yes. All right, I'll do that. Bushing. Huh, sweet. All sorts of lights are lining up on this thing. And, yeah, I think I heard something turn on. Huh? What's that? What happened? Junpei, look, the conveyor belt's moving. The conveyor belt? Well, I guess it's done moving now. There's a bunch of coal on the belt, though. Looks like a bunch of it got dumped off at the end of the belt with the wooden box where we found the control panel. Coal. Coal, huh? Since the belt started moving, it's transporting quite a bit of coal. Drops off of the left end of the belt right into the wooden box. You got a box filled with coal.
Wonderful! Now we can act as Santa!
Ho, ho, ho.
We're gonna enact our wildest fantasies and draw cool little kids. There are no little kids, unfortunately, so Clover's gonna be the closest thing we have to one.
So this is where you put the coal in the furnace, right?
We're gonna take. Wait. We're gonna take a bunch of coal. We're gonna put it in a present box. We're gonna give it to Clover, and we're gonna put a note. Ho, ho, ho! Your brother is dead. Here are his remains. Merry Christmas.
That's right. I have a look at it earlier and it's rusted shut, I'm afraid. Perhaps you should check the other side.
Oh no. Ninja Bot says rat number 1 is, yo, the humans are gonna do that dumbass experiment and grow rats. Send an email to them. We gotta have more of our brothers die. Aye, aye. Throws himself at keyboard. My brother, what do you mean? Why did rats have to drown? That's because scientists love murdering rats. Don't you know
It looks
this?
like there's a door over here in the tunnel.
It's like you've
Belt
never heard
over
what
here.
it's like you never heard of science before. Jesus.
The door appears to be welded shut, though. Ace, it's some kind of snowman secret meeting. Those are bags full of sand. You use them as a counterweight when you're lifting something with a pulley system. Man, you're too serious.
Huh.
There's a bunch of wooden boxes here. There's nothing in them.
Aw, that's sad.
Given the placement, this must unlock the door to the left. There's a weird indentation on the top of this thing. I think that means you gotta insert something in here. I would imagine so.
Ninjabot, you are right. You're right. I don't know about the second one. I've heard there's some scientists who live like total rock stars, just total drug addicts.
Here's rusty. Looks like it's pretty sturdy. Silver gear. You think it's made of pure silver? No. Silver's way too soft to use as a gear. Gotta be steel or iron. It's coated with silver. Ugh. Should have called it a silver gear then. Or shouldn't have got your hopes up. You were thinking you could hold this thing back? Nah, but I bet 7 could carry it, don't you? No comment.
Dun, 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 dun.
What am I missing?
No clue. You're doing the escape room, Mr. Escape Room Man.
Okay, in here.
You know, I'm just glad that there aren't any stupid mini games in this game.
I mean, these kind of are the stupid mini games.
I'm just glad we're not playing Hangman.
A lot of boxes. Okay, so that's back to this winch.
Whenever you say wench, I just imagine. It's like someone's pointing at someone's pointing at Lotus. It's time. It's back to that wench. This wench. Okay, to be fair, not Lotus specifically, but I just whenever I hear the wench, I'm just thinking of the other meaning. Is it called a wench or is it a winch?
I think that's a part of the ship's structure. They're like the ribs that support the hull.
God, we still have half an hour left?
No dice. This thing isn't going anywhere. There's a number of lights engraved in these. I suspect we're meant to do something rather specific with them. Juba, why don't you move that slider down? No harm in trying, I suppose. Nothing. Nothing happened. Maybe it needs to be prepared somehow. I suppose that's one way of putting it.
Yeah, we did something else. Something went. Oh no! Wait, 1 second. Wait. Santa for a split second was like, "Fuck yeah, 2 of us are dead, and 1 of us more will die." But hell yeah, we're gonna get rich! And then Junpei came and Santa's like, "Well, I guess there's no silver lining." What do you mean?
A golden gear. Doesn't look like it's always golden like this. I suppose it was prepared specially for this game.
That's a lot of gold.
A huge bronze gear. It has to be important. Let me open these stupid things.
All I'm saying is gold foil's still worth something,
Pillar goes up to the ceiling. Winch, rope, and hook. Hole. Control panel for the conveyor belt. Covered in lights. Button isn't on anymore. Don't need to press it. I feel like if I have the coal, there should be a place to put it in, right?
Yeah. I also feel like this puzzle is a bit boring compared to everything else.
Because it's such a big room.
Yeah, it's just way too big, and it's just like, okay, now I have this. Raid, what do I do with this? Yeah. In a small room, we at least have context of like, okay, there's so many things that don't make any sense. And when you get something, you're like, aha, suddenly things make a bit more sense now. In context. But it's so big.
Over here. There's a hole that will let us put coal in the furnace. Maybe if we can get some coal in there and set it on fire. Okay, let's do it.
What was that explosion sound?
Alright, that's the last of it. No coal left in the wooden box. Nothing. Great. Well, I guess I should have expected that. Why would I throw coal into a cold furnace do anything? A man can dream. Junpei, explain it to me again. You're planning to stoke the furnace with coal, right? Which will heat the water stored in there and make steam, which will then drive something else, right? In other words, you want to generate enough pressure in the steam to power the turbine and drive the steam engine, right? I guess that's the gist of it.
I like to imagine Junpei had no plan and just saw coal and saw a hole and like, yes!
Well, in that case, this isn't enough coal. The furnace is enormous, so we're gonna need like a whole hell of a lot of coal to do that. Very well, if the three of us work together, we should fill it much faster.
I want to help too.
Man, I totally did not see her walk up. Are you feeling up to that?
Yes.
Yeah, right. You look like you're one stiff breeze away from falling over, June. I think you better rest some more, alright?
But
No arguing. You need to rest, so stay here. We'll handle this.
Okay. I understand.
Alright, time for some manly work! Let's get this coal in those furnaces.
Every man's dream. We put the rock in the metal and make it burn.
That was a lot of work. Alright, I think this should be sufficient. Alright, now let's just gotta light it. Junpei, hand me your matches. What makes you think I have matches? I see. How the fuck are we gonna light it? Maybe there is a device nearby that will allow us to remotely ignite the coal. Take a look, shall we? A kind of ignition device.
It's like, okay, hand me a match.
We did all that work and you don't... We already looked through though. There's
It's
nothing
like,
in there.
okay, hand me your matches. I don't have matches. What makes you think I have matches? Bitch, why the fuck were you trying to do this in the first place if you didn't have anything to set on fire?
Probably is. I think this is how we ignite the furnace.
It's like, was Junpei's plan to just like put the coal in there and just hope it turns on spontaneously igniting or something?
Yeah. I think if we move this thing down... Alright, let's do it. Here we go! Hey, Junpei, Ace, look at this! The big gears are turning under the boiler here! Gears. They're spinning. What the hell are you guys waiting for? Start looking! You got the gold disc.
Wonderful. Oh my god, what are we doing here? There's so much!
Got
Why are we
the
playing a
bronze
puzzle game?
You got the silver disc. And guess what? This is the final puzzle of the room, I'm thinking.
I hope so.
This looks like the thing that unlocks the door. The impression here looks like it's outlined of 3 circles laid on top of each other in a triangle. Maybe if those 3 discs we found in this thing... Oh, there's only one way to find it. Stick them in. Oh, that's odd. Nothing happened. Maybe you're, like, putting them in the wrong places? Perhaps you have to have them facing the wrong directions. Perhaps you should rotate the discs to make some sort of lines connect to one another. That makes sense. No harm in trying. Yeah, I've got it. I'm gonna rotate the things. Just stop talking.
What do you mean, Ninjabot? Oh no, this is all Balmer. Balmer, all of this is you. It's a sun. Before you continue, before you continue, would you like to read what Ninjabot wrote?
Hold on. Yeah. Gotta find the comment. Explain to me. I'm too old and my brain is fast as my dog. You have a dog? Yeah. How is he? He's dead. So this turban is needed to,
He doesn't. This is what I like to think. Okay, I understand you want to light this with coal. You want to put a bunch of coal in here, ignite it. What's your plan after that? By the way, can you swap them out? Because I think you need to make a sun in the middle, and I think you need to put the gold on the right.
Wait, hold on.
Can you put the gold on the right?
No, you can't.
What are those things for then? You can't switch to gold and silver?
Hold on.
Oh, wait,
got
you
it.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, gold on right,
But-
please.
Hold on. Hold on.
Oh no,
Hold
never
on.
mind. You did it. You did it.
Got it.
Congratulations.
The red lines on the discs. I think that makes the star polygon of those. Hey, door open.
Good job.
You found it.
For a second, I thought that said you failed. Was that?
You failed.
Wait, why does that make me think of the Discovery Channel?
door's
The
open.
more you know. Ta-da-da.
Given the circumstances, Junpei's happiness was certainly understandable. Ace seemed to share his excitement. All right, Junpei, why don't we get June out? Santa and I will keep an eye on the door. Santa snorted. Why don't we need to do that? Even if it shuts, we know we have to solve the puzzle now. We could just open it again. I suppose that's true. Shall all three of us go to collect June then? Nah, I'm cool. I'll let Junpei handle it. I don't want to go down the stairs again. We've been going up and down the stairs all the puzzle. He seems irritated by something, and sat down on the stairs. Putin, Putin? Petulantly? I can't say that word.
Petulantly.
Petulantly, that's it. So, are you only interested in being contrary? A sighed, air in this long-suffering, like the air of a long-suffering parent.
Of course, the contrarian's the
Alright,
best
I'll-
voice. Have you
Be
never
back.
heard him?
He gave a quick nod to Ace and Santa and dashed down the stairs.
This man's never heard it. He doesn't know that contrarian's the best
Oh, well.
voice.
He's back on the first floor, next to the conveyor belt and June. As he drew closer, she stood up slowly. Are you okay? It is best to sound calm and nonchalant, but there was no hiding the genuine concern in his voice.
But yes, I'm fine. I'm fine now. I'm sorry I made you worry.
June blushed. He wasn't sure if she was embarrassed or feverish. Just to make sure, he reached out his hand against her forehead. Good. You're feeling a lot better. She was feeling less warm than she was earlier, but she still wasn't, down to what seemed normal to him. Are you sure you're all right? He had to be sure. June gave him a look.
You're such a warrior, Junpei. Jumpy? Whoops. What?
Warrior.
I mean warrior.
She said warrior.
Yes. I was confused.
June giggled. He wasn't sure she just made a joke or not, but seeing her smile again certainly put him at ease. If she was well enough to smile and laugh, then she was certainly feeling much better. He gave her a friendly poke on the forehead. Let's go.
Go where?
Oh, right, I didn't tell you. We got the exit open, so...
Oh, great! Let's go.
Hey, I got bad news, guys.
Yeah.
As they went to the exit, Junpei noticed Santa sitting on the stairs. Wait, hold on. Never mind. We're doing this now. So he's holding something in his right hand and staring at the strange expression. Junpei and June slowly looked down and finally stopped in front of him. What are you looking at? Santa answered without looking up, his voice quiet. It's a photo. It's my sister. Sister? Oh, wait, no, this June.
Sister? You know, Ninja Bot, I told you. Upper sauce. She doesn't have to be the only villain. Sister? You have a sister, Santa?
Santa simply nodded. Yeah. Kid was as cute as a button. June cocked her head, confused.
And she was only about an inch tall then?
Santa glared at her. Ah! Oh, no, wait, that's June.
Oh, sorry. I guess an inch is a little large for a button. What's wrong with her? Probably more like a half inch. She's just joking and joking.
I'm not laughing. He didn't smile or laugh. He simply turned back to the picture and spoke. I was her Santa Claus. This sudden revelation took Junpei by surprise. He had no idea what Santa meant. He glared at June, who took her head. She didn't know either. We didn't have parents. They bought it in an accident when we were still kids. So I had to be like her dad. And that meant I had to bring Christmas presents every year. On Christmas Eve, I'd leave the present next to her pillow. And the next morning, she'd come running into my room with this big old smile. Look, Santa left me a present. Santa got me the doll I really wanted. Glad he got the letter I wrote. I was the one that told her to write those letters. I'd say, write down something you want and mail it to Santa. The address I gave her was somewhere in Northern Europe that doesn't exist. Anyway, she'd write the letter and stamp it and send it out. Then a few days later, it'd show up back in our mailbox marked address unknown. I'd open the letters before she'd figure out they'd been sent back. Once I got the letter, I got to go to a couple stores, flip the money I saved up every year to buy her the stuff she asked for. It took a bit of saving, but I managed to buy her presents every year. Junpei was silent. We couldn't think of nothing to say. June looked down, uncomfortable. The wall next to him suddenly groaned. Either he hadn't heard the sound or he didn't care. Santa kept talking. But one year, the letter was different. She didn't write a list of toys she wanted or anything like that. Instead, she said, I don't want any presents this year. Instead, I want you to make my wish come true. My wish is that we'll be happy like this for a really, really long time. But I couldn't make that wish come true. Some Santa I am. Santa looked down, sad. Junpei had never seen him look sad before. He wasn't sure he liked it. Junpei decided it was probably best not to ask Santa any more questions. But
What happened? Uh-oh.
June glanced up at Santa quickly as she spoke. He answered, but only with some effort. She died. She was killed 9 years ago. There was nothing Junpei could say. His heart felt like a great lump of lead. June bit her lip and looked away. Her face was pale. All right, let's go. Santa stood up suddenly, his downcast demeanor gone. He shoved the picture back in his pocket and headed up the stairs, taking them two at a time. Junpei and June looked at one another. There was nothing they could think of to say. What are you two doing? Let's move! Come on! Santa's voice echoed across the room from above them. They nodded, following him quickly up the stairs. Ace was waiting for them at the top. He was leaning against the handrail. Looked very tired. The door had shut, but that wasn't a cause for concern. Junpei just solved the disc puzzle a second time and the door opened again. A single file they walked through. After walking nearly 15 feet, they found themselves in front of a metal door. It opened easily enough, and they passed through it as well. The new room stretched out before them. Hey, guess what, Star?
Yeah.
There's 2 puzzle rooms.
Oh.
I just heard you just die inside. It's just like, damn it.
Listen, all I'm gonna say is the puzzles aren't fun when they stretch on like this.
Warehouse? No, I believe this is a cargo room. This is where they store all the luggage and freight.
I can see why Danganronpa focuses a lot more on the story and not at all on puzzles.
June.
There are wooden crates everywhere. I wonder how old they are.
Junpei, Ace, and June stopped unconsciously, pausing to take in their new surroundings. Santa's voice broke through their momentary trance. Well, we probably ought to stop finding the exit then, right? Let's get going. Puzzle time!
Puzzle time! Whenever Junpei does that, I just think he's like, hmm? Just that
Yeah.
sound effect goes on.
There are a bunch of bags in here. Wonder what's in them. You got a picture of a headshot. That's Santa. What is that? Card. It's got a headshot on it. A headshot? Yeah, I'm not really sure what the purpose they could possibly serve.
Is Santa a model?
You got another headshot. It's the number 9 guy.
It's a number 9 guy.
You look inside. You found Snake. You open inside. Hey, look, it's Clover. There's a box. It's Ace.
Oh,
You look inside. It's 7.
nice.
Man, I love the collectible trading cards. They're my favorite. We searched all the boxes. There's nothing in them.
Dude, it's like, imagine. How much could these guys sue him for IP-wise, for IP theft? Nothing, because they'd be dead. There's only even a fence around it. So wait, the only people missing right now is Clover, 7.
The other room. They went to A deck, remember?
No. In the cards.
Right, sorry.
Clover, 7, Junpei, June.
Yeah. Junpei, you think you can look at it? Yeah, no thanks. Why? I, got a bad feeling about it. Pussy. Okay, fine, I'll go.
Please be careful, Santa.
Yeah, just in case. Wait, what's he gonna do with that screw? I don't see where he's throwing the screw at, but the fence is... Holy shit!
Electric.
This... June.
This is... Oh, man.
There's electricity running through that fence. It looks like it.
Then we can't get to the other side.
Well, we could jump off those crates, but we wouldn't be able to get back.
Well, it's time to go. It's time to be a rat. Learn from the rats. Turn around and look for another exit. Wait. Put the cards in the numbers, in the barrels.
We don't have enough yet. What's up here? Stairs. They go up 3 stories. Well, what are you waiting for, Junpei? You already love stairs. We watched you go up and down them all last room. Okay, so stairs. 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 The only door here except for the one we came through. Then this is the exit. No shit, Sherlock. Of course it's locked. Is it an electric clock? Nah, it's got a keyhole right on the doorknob. Okay, we gotta find a key.